This video covers RCM Level 1 Sight Reading Curriculum, Week 1. In this video, I will review each day's activities one day at a time. To use this video, you should first complete the day's activity on your own, then come watch that segment of video to compare and validate your work. Let's begin with a brief tutorial into the daily activities. Activity 1 for each day will be note and interval identification. First, you will look at the clef sign. That means identify whether it's treble or bass clef. Then you will want to identify each note. After that, you will identify the fingers that are supposed to play each note from 1 to 5. And finally, you will play the notes. The second daily activity will be to demonstrate a rhythm. First, you will want to identify the time signature. Specifically, the top number is most important to tell you how many beats are in each measure. Then you will want to tap out a steady beat with your hand. After that, you will speak the rhythm as you keep tapping the beat. Use tas, titis, and ta-ahs as you speak the rhythm. The third activity each day will be to sight read a passage. First, you will complete the listed activities that are on the page. It will always have you do something to understand the passage you're about to play. After that, you will want to use the clap method to sight read. C is for count. Counting means tap out the rhythm. L is for look. Look at your starting notes and the position for your fingers. A is for attention. Pay attention to what happens with the notes. What intervals and direction are they traveling in? And finally, P is for play. You will want to tap out a slow and steady rhythm and then begin to play. Do not stop. Keep going until you get to the end. You can try a passage 3 times. The last activity each day will be creative. Make sure you read the instructions on the page, trust yourself, and then try the activity. Be creative and feel free to continue to experiment. Let's get started with day 1 activities. Stop first before you move forward. Make sure that you have completed the activities independently on your own. The purpose of this video is to validate the work that you have already done. Number 1 says to play these intervals with the given fingering. So we're going to start with this first interval here. So it tells us to play this note with our 5 and this note with our 1. So that's a pinky and a thumb. This note up here on that line is a D. And this note right here on line 2 is a G. So looking at the piano, you can see middle C right here. The D that it's referring to is above here. It's this D right here. So it should be 5, 1. So you're in a perfect fifth right there. Okay, now we're going to look at number 2 right here. So the first thing I'm going to notice is that there is a bass clef. And we are looking at a 1 on this note. The second line, the one that comes out of those 2 dots, that is going to be F. And this is on 1, 2, 3. The pearl is in the C, so that is C right there. I'm supposed to have a 4th finger there. So we'll come down to the piano. This is middle C right here. We're going to go down below that with our thumb on F and our 4th finger on C. Now let's take a look at the third note selection here. So we're back in the treble clef, and this note right here on the third line, that's B and is B flat. And then just below that on the second line is G. So we'll come down to the piano. You can see middle C right there. B flat is here and G. And next we're going to come up to the last one here. We're back in the bass clef, and this second line right here that comes out of those 2 darts is F, which we already talked about. This F has a sharp, and up 1 note from that is going to be G. So looking at the piano, this is F sharp and G. Okay, let's take a look at number 2 here. Number 2 is asking us to count the rhythm. So this is the first time that we have done this. It's telling you to tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot, and then to continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. So when it's talking about the beat, it's talking about tapping a consistent beat that doesn't change, like this. So it's not telling you to tap the rhythm there. It's literally telling you just to keep the beat. So it tells you to do one measure. We can see that there should be 4 beats in a measure. So we're going to do 4 taps in, and then I am going to speak the rhythm over the top because that is the easiest way to do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ta. If you had any trouble doing this, because this is a skill that takes some time to learn, I'm going to repeat it and you can do it with me one time to get good at this. Let's go. So we're going to count in 4 beats and then we'll begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ta. Good. Okay, so number 3 tells us to draw arrows showing the directions of the notes in each hand, then to play the melody. So I'm going to look at this. It looks like this is going down, this is going down and down, this is going up and up. And here it looks like we're going up, up, down, and down. So let's take a look at this. That first note right there is middle C. Our left hand thumb is going to go there. It says it's mezzo piano. I see the legato slur, so I'm going to play it all connected. And then when I switch, my right hand thumb is going to take over middle C. So I'm going to try sight reading this. When we sight read, we get 3 chances to play it correctly. I have middle C right here with my left thumb to start, and I'm going to count in 4 beats just like we did for the rhythm. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 Now, if you did not get that right the first time, no problem. You do have 3 tries to get it. So you can pause the video and try again if you need to. Now, it says for number 4, we're supposed to use the notes C, D, and E and create our own melody based on today's number 2 rhythm reading pattern. So that means I'm going to use this pattern here to make up my own melody on C, D, and E. Your melody is going to sound different than mine, but I'm just going to show you what they mean to do. So I'm going to count in 4 beats again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my little rhythm. Your rhythm might be different. If you did all that, you are done with day 1. We are ready to move on to day 2. Please make sure that you complete the activities independently before viewing this segment. This first one, we are in the treble clef, and that first note there is on 1, 2, space number 3, and we can say the pearl is in the C, so that is a C. And the next note is just a skip above it. That's going to be an E, and I do see that there should be a flat on that. So those notes, looking at my piano, is going to be this C. It says finger 2 to finger 4. Looking at the next example, I see that I have a bass clef here. So it says 4 is on this space. We can think A is on the top line, step down to G. So that's going to be a G there. And then A is on the top line, step up to B. That's going to be a B flat. On my piano, right here, we're going to go 4 on G, 2 on B flat. Looking at the third one on this sample, we all know well by now that that is middle C, and then we're going up to the first space. We know from face that this is going to be an F. It says I should go from finger 2 to finger 5. So on my piano, middle C, finger 2 to finger 5 on F. And one more, the first thing I look at is the sign. It says it's a bass clef. This is the middle line, hey diddle diddle. D is in the middle, and this is the top line. A is on the top line. It says we should use our 5 finger on D and our 1 finger on A. So looking at my piano, I'm down 1 octave below middle C with a 5 on D and a 1 on A. And that's it for number 1. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 tells us to tap in 1 measure of the beat with our hand or foot, and then to continue tapping while we speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. Okay, so the first thing I notice here is that there are 3 beats in each measure instead of 4. So when I tap in 1 measure of the beat, I'm only going to tap 3 beats, and I'm going to speak the rhythm over the top. 1, 2, 3. Ta, 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 ah, ah. I'm going to do that one more time in case you would like to do it with me. 1, 2, 3. Ta, 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 ah. Great. Okay, now we're going to play this melody keeping a steady beat. So we can use the clap method anytime we're sight reading. Clap is for count, look, attention, and play. So the first thing we know is how many beats we have to count is 4. So we're going to also count the rhythm. Ta, 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 Now we're going to look at what happens here. So they had us draw this in the last example, but what we're looking at is up, up, down, 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 and they're all steps. And then here we're going to go down, up, up, up. Okay, we also need to look at where we're supposed to start. So this tells us that our right hand second finger should start on E, just above middle C, mezzo forte, it's also important to notice, and our left hand third finger should start on A, just below middle C. Okay, so we're going to do that. While we're doing it, what we pay attention to is the note heads. And the P for play tells us to start and don't stop no matter what. So even if you make a mistake, you're going to continue to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 I'm going to do it one more time in case you would like to do it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 Great. Okay, number 4 finally tells us to play a root position, C major triad broken, then solid blocked. Now sing the root C followed by a third, which is E. Okay, so a root position C major triad broken, then blocked. C major triad is a C major chord. So looking at the piano, this is a C chord. It wants us to play it first broken, then blocked. So broken means doing this. 1, 3, 5. Blocked means playing them all together. Now we're going to sing the root followed by a third. My voice is not quite in, so I'm going to use the piano to help me. So, la, la, that's C to E. Okay, that's the end of day 2. Welcome to day 3. Once again, please make sure to complete the activities independently before viewing this segment. I'm going to start with looking at our intervals. This first one, we are going to start by noticing that that is a bass clef. And right here, this is an E, and it is an E flat. And this is on the third space, 1, 2, 3. The pearl is in the C. So it tells us that our third finger should go on E flat, and our fifth finger should go on C, which is right here. E, C. Looking at the next one, the first thing I'm going to notice is that this is a treble clef. This is G right here, I know because it's on line 2, which comes out of that target of the treble clef. And 1, 2, 3 spaces, the pearl is in the C. So my 1 goes on G, my 4 goes on C. That is G just above middle C right here. And 4 on C. Looking at the third one here, we're going to notice that this is a bass clef. The top line in the bass clef is A, and we say A is on the top line, step down to G, and this is a G sharp. Now it tells us that our 2 should go on A and our 3 should go on G sharp. This is A just below middle C right here. And our last example like this here tells us that 5 should be on this space. We know from face that that is A. And this from face is going to be F. So it tells us that our 5 goes on A and our 3 goes on F. This is just above middle C. This A right here and F. Okay, it's time to do number 2. We're looking at it this day and we notice that there are 2 beats in each measure. So this time when we're counting, it's only going to be 2. Here we go. 1, 2. Ta, 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 ta. Once again, I'm going to do it a second time so you can do it with me if you would like. 1, 2. Ta, 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 ta. Okay, great. So here it tells us to circle C major triads, then play this melody. If you'll remember, a C major triad is the C major 1 chord that you've gotten used to over time. So the first 1 chord is here from C, E, and G. And the second 1 chord that I see is these last 3 notes at the end. So I have just 1 note that's outside of those 2 triads, which is this. This tells me that my right hand should be at middle C, my left hand should be down below. I'm going to look at the other clues before I start. I notice that there is 3/4 time. There's going to be 3 beats in every measure. It says that it's mezzo forte. I already figured out where my hands are going to go, and I know that they're skips because we're doing a chord. And I see that there are some legato slurs. Now, when I play, I'm going to count in 1 measure, which is 3 beats, and then I'm going to keep going no matter what. You'll remember that if you make a mistake, you always have 3 tries on this. So let's see how you did by comparing what I do now. My left hand is going to start here, and I'm going to count in slowly. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do it again so you can do it with me if you would like to. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, our last tip for today tells us to play today's sight playing melody again with the hand switch. We're supposed to play the bass clef part with the right hand, beginning with the thumb, and play the treble clef part with the left hand, beginning with finger 5. Okay, so we're going to do this challenge now. I'm going to start with the right hand instead of the left hand. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's it for day 3. We've made it to day 4. Make sure you independently complete the activities before moving forward. Start by playing our intervals again. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at the clef and then I'm going to figure out the notes. This is a treble clef. The very top space there is going to be E. And this line right here that's in the middle for the treble clef is going to be B. It tells me that my forefinger should be on E, my thumb should be on B, coming down to the piano. I'm going to be a whole octave above middle C, E with a 4, B with a thumb. Looking at the next one, the very first thing that I look at is the clef sign. This is in bass clef. The bottom space of the bass clef is sometimes hard to remember. This is going to be an A here. And up a third from that is going to be C. This is a sharp. Remember, we can think counting down from the top. 1, 2, 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, the pearl is in the C. Let's take a look down here at the piano. This A is all the way down here. So you'll notice it's not right by middle C, but it's down further. So 5 on A, 3 on C sharp. Looking at the next one, the first thing I look at is the clef sign. Treble clef. The space up, or the line up here, is going to be D, and the very top line of the clef is going to be F. This one is going to be a sharp. It tells me that my 2 should be on D. This is middle C here. I'm going to hop all the way up here. So we're on D, F sharp. And the last one for number 1, we have first our sign is a bass clef. This line here, the line number 4, is going to be a B. This does say that it should be flat. And up 1 note from that, 1, 2, 3 spaces down, the pearl is in the C. So it says that my 4 should be on B flat, my 3 should be on C. That's middle C there. I'm down here. B flat, C. Next, we're going to look at number 2 here. We're going to tap it in, and then we're going to speak it over our tap. It says that we're in 4/4 time, which means there will be 4 beats a measure. I'm going to tap in 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 ta. I'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 ta. Okay, great. Looking at the next step, it tells us to circle each pair of repeated notes and then play the melody. So I'm looking here for notes that repeat. I see these 2 right here, so I'm going to circle them. And I see those 2 right there, so I'm going to circle them. Down here, I see these 2 right here. I'm going to circle them. And I see those 2 right there. So it looks from this, with where those repeated notes are, that I probably have a pattern. And the pattern says that I skip, and then I step down and repeat, skip up and repeat, and step down. And it's the same here. Skip up, step down and repeat, skip up and repeat, step up. So that last step goes in a different direction. I'm going to notice as I'm looking at what's happening here that it tells me that my first finger for my right hand should be on E, and my 5th finger for my left hand should be on F. It also tells me that the first part is going to be forte and the second part is going to be piano. So let's try this. I'm looking at my piano and it tells me that my right hand thumb is going to be on E. Now I know that it's not a true representation of what I'm showing, because typically you do want to put both hands on the piano when you do sight reading, but because I am holding the camera, I can't do that, which also does sometimes give a slight delay as I move from one hand to the next. You should not have that delay, and you should set both of your hands on the piano before you start. Now remember, the rule is we're going to count in slow to start, and once we start, we are going to keep playing no matter what. If we make a mistake, we can take 2 more tries to get this right. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now piano. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now we're looking at the last step for today. It tells us to play today's sight reading melody again, changing 1 note in each of the circled pairs. So every circle pair that we have, I'm going to change it. Instead of playing a repeated note, I'm going to play 1 note different. Okay, so something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just one example. You can do it your own way. And that is the end of day 4. We are at day 5, the last day of this week. Independent activities first, and then watch the video segment for validation. We're going to start by doing our intervals. So the first thing that I want to look at is the sign. This is a bass clef right here, and that is the middle line. So I know, hey diddle diddle, D is in the middle. And then this is 1 skip up from that. So I know that's going to be F sharp. It says I should use my 4th finger and my 2nd finger. I'm coming down to the piano here, and I'm going to be this far below middle C. D with a 4, F sharp with a 2. Looking at the next ones here, I see that I'm in the treble clef, and on that second space I know from face is going to be A, and the top space I know from face is going to be E. It says I should use my 1 and 5, so coming down to the piano, 1 on A, 5 on E. Looking at number 3, I see first that I am in the bass clef. The middle line, hey diddle diddle, D is in the middle. And this bottom space on the bass clef is going to be A. It tells me I use my 2 on D, my 5 on A. There is middle C. I'm going down here. 2 on D, 5 on A. The last example here, I'm going to be looking at E flat for the first note. And we know that this is C. It tells me my 3 should be on E flat, my 1 should be on C, and that is middle C, so I'm right here. 3 on E flat, 1 on C. Okay, let's go to number 2 and let's do our rhythm. We're going to tap it in. It says it's 2/4 time, so that means 2 beats a measure. 1, 2. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ta. I'll do it one more time. 1, 2. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ta. Okay, number 3, it tells me to play the melody with clear dynamic contrast. Remember, dynamics are the louds and softs of the music. So this time we're going from very soft to very loud. It should be all of a sudden. Before we begin, we do need to look at some things. First, we know that it's 4/4 time. There's going to be 4 beats in every measure. I don't see any sharps or flats. This is telling me that my right hand middle finger should be on E, which means I'm going to be in C position. And I see skip, fifth, step, step. So I can look at this going up, down, up, down. It tells me that my left hand fourth finger should be on G, and it tells me that it's going G, up a step, up a skip, and this is the same. So sometimes you might want to draw arrows in, circle same numbers. You can write on this before you begin if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and try to play it. So it's a pretty simple rhythm, but you can also tap out the rhythm if it helps you ahead of time. Now you should set both hands on the piano before you begin. I'm holding a camera, so I can't really do that. Your right hand should be with a thumb on C, and your left hand should also be with a thumb on C. Okay, I'm going to begin. I'm going to count in slow, and remember, I am not going to stop no matter what. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, remember, you can play it 2 more times if you need help with it. And let's look at this last one here. It tells us to stand up and march while you clap or sing today's rhythm reading pattern. Accent the first note of every measure with a loud stomp of your foot. So that is not something that I can show you doing, but I do want you to get up and march this pattern. So it tells you to accent the first note of every measure with a loud stomp of your foot. So I'm gonna draw those accent marks on at the first note of every measure here so that you know where you should be stomping. And that is the end of day 5, the end of week 1. Great job on your work this week. You are complete with week 1. I will see you back here for week 2 at the start of next week.